Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm heading out of St. Joe, Michigan to do some shallow water coho fishing. And I'm going to highlight something that I haven't talked about in any of my previous videos. So stick around. St. Joseph is located in Berrien County in southwest Michigan. And it's one of the more popular salmon ports on the Michigan side of Lake Michigan this time of the year. One of the main reasons that this port is so popular is because the southern end of Lake Michigan tends to warm up faster than the rest of the lake in the springtime. And this warm water draws in bait fish near shore, which then of course draws in the predator fish like salmon and trout. The setup this time of year involves running body baits high in the water column, typically in water less than 40 feet and sometimes as shallow as 10 feet of water. Now, many of these fish in the spring are younger fish, and it's not uncommon for some of them to be extremely small. So small to the point where you might not even know that you're dragging one. So it's important that you check your lines often. Now, this was just a little guy, so I threw him back. But it just goes to show why it's important to check lines often when you don't think you have fish on. So one of the things I love about the sport of fishing is that every day is different. And no matter when you think you've got the fish figured out, something changes, weather changes, the fish pattern changes, and throws you a curveball. So after fishing for an hour or two and only catching that little tiny throwback, I decided to pick up and move. And place that came to mind was a power plant that was a few miles south of the port of St. Joseph called the Cook Nuclear Plant. Most industrial plants that are on the Great Lakes have some sort of a warm water discharge. They use fresh water to cool various plant components in a closed piping system and then discharge it back to the lake just to get rid of the heat. The good news for fishermen is, especially in the springtime when water temperatures are still very cold, this presents a cloud of relatively warm water in the area, which draws in bait fish. They like that more comfortable water. So I decided to pick up lines and head down that way. And as it turned out, that was the right decision. And here you can see the difference between the water temperature just outside the St. Joe pier heads and the water temperature as I found it when I arrived out in front of the nuclear plant. And as you can see, it's about a 5-degree difference, which is huge this time of year. So after arriving and getting set up, it didn't take long for me to get the first fish. We got a fish. Oh, it came off. It's still on. All right. So one thing you'll notice with this fish was that it was caught with the exact same rod and setup as that first small fish that I threw back. So, you know, as a veteran fisherman, one of the things you start to learn is very quickly put together patterns as quickly as you can. And so with that said, I started rummaging through my tackle to find a similar type of lure. I didn't have another one of that exact model and color, but I found one that was very similar and put it on one of the other two rods I was running. So this was now the third fish that came on that exact same setup. And so again, identifying patterns is key. And the more quickly that you can do that, and the more quickly you can mimic that same pattern with all of your other rods in your setup, the quicker you'll get to your limit. It's always fun reviewing footage and realizing you missed a fish. So if you remember, I said I put a second lure on that very closely matched the lure that was catching all the fish. And in fact, that's the lure that caught the last one for me. So all told, it only took about an hour and a half once I made the move down here to the nuke plant to get lines set up, catch my 3 fish limit, and call it a day. That's going to about do it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little something. And just remember to always be thinking and not be afraid to change things up on the water when things aren't going your way.